Hello and welcome back to the UiPath Automation Implementation Fundamentals course. By the end of this video, you'll be able to list the typical automation practitioner roles involved in an automation implementation process from the Center of Excellence side. Describe at a high level the responsibilities for each role in the implementation team, and locate where in the implementation process each role is involved. All set? Let's begin. An automation project's success is determined not by the roles themselves, but by the tasks performed by each role at every stage of the project. In an implementation project, the project manager plays a critical part, being involved at every stage of the project, like an orchestra director. Moreover, it's the essential role at the beginning and the end of the project, in kickoff and project closure, respectively. Sometimes, implementation teams can do well without project managers, but this is not an approach that we would recommend unless the implementation team is very mature or there's a small-scale project being implemented. A project manager manages the overall implementation and coordinates the implementation team and the synergies with the client team throughout the project. They're also responsible for managing roadblocks, risks, changes, and escalations. Project managers also create and maintain comprehensive project documentation and make sure that the documentation is followed by all parties. In case the implementation involves different legal entities, project managers need to offer extra attention to the engagement documents, such as the statement of work. Some of the key tasks of project managers involve assessing the client delivery readiness and working with stakeholders to allocate project staff. They also manage the engagement setup, the milestone tracking, the status reporting, the timesheet reviewing, and the financial forecasting. Additionally, the project manager must create a project plan and a staffing plan and communicate the requirements for the success of the project. Project managers also schedule, facilitate, and document the meetings within the implementation team, as well as those with the client team. They're responsible for obtaining approvals and sign-off for the project documentation, helping to coordinate and forecast the need for a change request, and performing project closure actions. Great! Let's now focus on the business analyst role. The business analyst is involved in the business case and technical validation, process analysis, solution design, user acceptance testing, and project closure stages, and is a key person in the business case and technical validation, process analysis, and user acceptance testing stages. The main responsibility of the business analyst is to become well-versed in the business process to be automated, based on the organization's goals and the projected value that automation would bring. The as-is state of the process to be automated is the area in which they need to develop deep expertise, complemented by a good overview of the to-be automated state. As the to-be state is further defined and developed by the technical roles of the implementation team, the business analyst needs to keep up. Additionally, any automation business analyst needs a solid grasp of general business process theory, but also of the techniques, frameworks, and automation capabilities. As the working method, they start by gathering the process requirements, clarifying the inputs and expected outputs, and then creating the required documentation. More specifically, business analysts are responsible for documenting the high-level requirements and assessing the business case potential. Then, they create the high-level work breakdown for the to-be process state, make recommendations, and run the suitability and viability study. A business analyst's duty also extends to creating and updating business cases, creating a process definition document, or PDD, and documenting the process at a keystroke level in the PDD. Further down the implementation path, business analysts are responsible for creating the user acceptance testing plans and for defining the success criteria to match the functional and non-functional requirements. During UAT, the business analyst works to ensure the automation output is in line with the signed-off requirements. The business analyst also validates any change requests and starts the change request management cycle. Once a change is approved, they are in charge of updating it in the PDD. Lastly, the business analyst participates in the engagement retrospective analysis, which is typically carried out in automation projects involving different legal entities. Perfect! With this good knowledge of the project manager and business analyst, let's look at the solution architect role. Solution architects are involved in all the stages of implementation, but they're key people in the kickoff, solution design, and deployment and hypercare stages. A solution architect is primarily the lead and technical advisor of the development team. Solution architects define the architecture of the automation solutions, oversee the design and implementation of the different project components, and recommend the tools and features to be used, as well as some programming approaches. Their key tasks are to create an initial license estimation and then to update it as soon as the working solution becomes clear. They perform code reviews and ensure that the technical best practices are followed. The solution architects are the ones creating the solution design document, or SDD, as well as the technical testing plan, the latter in collaboration with the developers. We're now getting to the automation developer role. During the whole implementation process, automation developers are involved in the development and testing, user acceptance testing, deployment and hypercare, and project closure stages. Automation developers are the key people in the development and testing and deployment and hypercare stages. Automation developers build automations following best practices and coding standards specific to business requirements, as agreed with the solution architect. Further, they're responsible for making changes to the automation during the development, testing, and hypercare phases, and communicating the changes to the project manager and related stakeholders accordingly. They must also conduct knowledge transfer sessions with the client's team to ensure a smooth transition at the end of the engagement. Other key tasks may include assisting in creating and reviewing the SDD, reviewing project documents such as the PDD, maintaining code repositories, building the solution, and executing the technical testing plan. Additionally, automation developers are in charge of creating the runbook and supporting clients during UAT, including logging and fixing defects, and sometimes running test cases. Let's move on to the last core role in this course, the infrastructure engineer. An infrastructure engineer is a billable role involved in the kickoff phase of implementations. Infrastructure engineers are well-versed in the UiPath platform infrastructure and can assist in technical infrastructure-related issues. Also, for external implementations, an infrastructure engineer works with the client's infrastructure and applications teams to integrate the UiPath platform into their business. An infrastructure engineer reviews project requirements as well as hardware and software requirements. They're also responsible for analyzing the client's existing infrastructure. Moreover, infrastructure engineers design and deploy infrastructure and applications and assist in maintenance and upgrades. Great! Now let's do a quick recap. Project managers manage the overall implementation and coordinate the implementation and client teams to ensure a successful project. That's why they're involved in all stages of the implementation by managing the project documentation and the communication channels between the implementation team, the client team, as well as with stakeholders. Business analysts are involved in the business case and technical validation, process analysis, solution design, UAT, and project closure. As part of their key tasks, business analysts are responsible for documenting the high-level requirements and preparing the business case for the automation. Solution architects participate in all the stages of implementation. A solution architect is primarily the lead and advisor of the development team and is in charge of preparing the solution design document and the technical testing plan. Automation developers are vital to an automation project as they're involved in the development and testing, user acceptance testing, deployment and hypercare, and project closure stages of implementation. Automation developers build automations following the solution design and automation and coding best practices. The infrastructure engineer is typically a billable role who is involved in the kickoff and deployment and hypercare phases of an implementation. Infrastructure engineers are well versed in the UiPath platform infrastructure and assist in technical infrastructure-related issues. Perfect! With this, we conclude our video about the roles and responsibilities within the implementation team. Thanks for watching and happy learning!